your love anymore.
Rumor has it. 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 Rumor has it.
Welcome to Earth 2 Comic Cast, where superheroes exist and comic book talk is the norm. It's your boy Mo Crosby. I started this video with what you just saw because I wanted to talk about a lot of things that have been on social media and in the media today, in the past couple of days. And I just wanted to address it and give you my thoughts on it, give you Earth 2's thoughts about it. If you haven't listened to the podcast, we talked about some of the stuff on the podcast, but now I'm going to actually make a video to address it because it's been a lot. It's been a lot of the stuff on, just coming out every day. So welcome to another Earth 2 News Reports. Sit back, relax, and as always,
welcome to the planet.
You're on another episode of Earth 2 News Reports. And again, this is just my 2 cents on what's been going on media, social media, and just stuff, that has been propped up this week and the past week, and just a lot of stuff, negative news, floating in the DCeU side of things. Not necessarily, let me just go ahead and say comic book movie side of things, okay? Because it'd be unfair to talk about everything that's been going on without talking about, say, the report that came in that said Thor is going to be like over 2 hours, and then at least Taika Waititi came out and said something about that. James Gunn has been rumored to be writing a show, and he came out and said something about that. So it's a lot of stuff that's been floating around, but most of it, if not all of it, has been thrown in the DCU direction. Like the first thing, Casey Affleck came out a week ago and said something on a podcast, and social media and bloggers just took it and ran with it. People made a lot of videos. That was a hot topic for at least 2 weeks, and then their reps, the Affleck reps came out and said something about it. My 2 cents on that, again, we all saw the quote. We saw what he was saying. If you read it one way and decided to turn around and make it news when it's not, then shame on you. Shame on you as a blogger. Shame on you as a fan. Shame on you as someone who's trying to get clicks for your site or your page or your YouTube channel. This is something I feel like we need to talk about as YouTubers, because there should be some type of integrity, and you should hold yourself to some type of standard. I'm not calling out any names, but a lot of people out there use this news to put themselves out there, and I think it's something that we should all start taking note of, as opposed to getting mad at them. Stop giving them these clicks. Honestly, just stop clicking. We all call it clickbait, but we should just stop clicking, period. That's one. And another one I wanted to address, so it's impossible to talk about anything DCU without talking about Batman. Or talking about, now there's another one out there that says DC starting this Elseworld brand, which might be something we should, stop and take a look at and listen to, because it's something that could work. We could have stuff like Red Sun and a lot of things, that we have always wanted to see in live action come to pass. And it's also something we should also take with a grain of salt. I am not dismissing this as a total rumor, but it's just so, like, right now this is not where the DCU is or where they should be focusing on. They should be focusing on the actual DCU brand. Warner Brothers should be focusing on the DCU brand as opposed to trying to, bring up other things now. So that's what I'm going to look at it as, Warner Brothers trying to find something else to rest on in case the DCU doesn't work post Justice League. But again, you have fans of the DCU, you have people who've loved the DCU products, and you have people who are waiting to see more DCEU connective products. Let us see that first. When we see that, then you can decide, okay, this alternate timeline can work, which I'm not against. I'm saying let's get all the movies that we've been promised for the DCU first, and if you go 2025, 2026, 2027, and then we start getting Elseworld stuff, I am all for it. Or like we said on our podcast, you drop it on your on the streaming service that you've been planning. So they've been planning the streaming service. For now, we only know that they have 2 things that they're going to be, original content that they're going to be doing on there: Young Justice and the Titans live action show. So again, you reduce the budget for said Elseworld movies and you put them on there, and you have people sold. So we don't know exactly what they're doing. So with people sending out there and then making up stuff and trying to add stuff to the fire, I think that's where that's where the rumors start to come from, is people starting to make up stories and make things up and say this is exactly what DC is doing, as opposed to what we don't know. We just heard. We don't know. And again, nothing has been confirmed by by Warner Brothers and the DCEU. So Why are we so pressed on it? Again, there's another rumor that came out. This one happens to be that David Ayer has been taken off the Gotham City Sirens because that movie has been scrapped and it's becoming the Joker and Harley movie. A movie that I'm not totally against, because you can do a couple comic books, you can adapt a couple comic books that have been written for Joker and Harley Quinn. Crazy Love or Mad Love. I'm not really sure what the name is. I'll post up the cover for you guys. And yes, while that is a possibility, that's something that could happen. Again, it's another hearsay rumor. This is something that we haven't confirmed. But what happens on the internet is people take what they hear and what they think they know, and all of a sudden this becomes big news. Again, this is something that, okay, well, we just heard it. Move along. It's nothing. It's not big news. It's not crazy. It's not the biggest news you've heard. Like that's just like that doesn't make any sense to me. And so yes, I'm not saying we shouldn't keep an ear out for these rumors or keep an eye out for them. What I'm saying is, I'm talking to some of the YouTubers and some of the people that blog and write and stuff like that. Stop making stuff up. Stop adding to what you think you know. Stop giving us what you think you know as opposed to what is actual truth. Like, stop trying to get clicks. You see all these headlines. Oh, the best one was from a quote Matt Reeves had a month before SDCC. This is so beautiful because this happened before San Diego Comic-Con. Nobody brought this up, but as soon as someone says, "Oh, Joker, Elseworld," and then the quote is brought back up. Look, Batman is going to be a standalone. Again, standalone, and with Ben Affleck doesn't mean he's not in the DCeU. I don't want my Batman to be, every little Easter egg or every little minute there's a mention of a Justice Leaguer. Every little second someone is. Let's have, we can have a shared universe with shared movies, as like Man of Steel and Wonder Woman, again, a part of the greater DCU, have one or two Easter eggs and call those movies. Again, that doesn't mean they're not a part of the collective. That just means they can be alone. They can be movies by themselves. What connects BVS, what connects all those movies is Man of Steel and Wonder Woman right now is BVS. What's going to connect them, all those three movies later on, is Justice League. Now, when the director for Justice League 2 comes in after the Batman movie, Aquaman movie, Wonder Woman 2, Man of Steel 2, the Flashpoint, when he comes in, he can say, okay, let's take this from all your movies and connect it one, just put a thread in and build the Justice League 2 from that. I didn't even need Matt Reeves to come out, because he did come out and correct the whole internet, because people were saying, Batman is going to be Elseworld. This confirms Ben Affleck isn't a part of this, isn't going to be in this movie. Like, no. Even I read the quote and I was like, I can understand this. Because again, if we had Christian Bale, now he had 3 standalone movies. If we had Christian Bale in BVS as Batman, it's not hard to connect his movies into this. It's not hard to connect the end of Dark Knight Rises into BVS. That could have happened. But those were 3 standalone movies, not a part of the super collective. But you can still connect them to make it part of the collective. You understand what I'm saying? Now, a lot of you are gonna say, "Well, it's all DCU stuff you're talking about. It's all DCU stuff. Like, there's almost no hate to the DCU stuff." If you calm down and think about it, this morning, today, I'm scrolling down my Twitter and I see Patty Jenkins, admonishing James Cameron, like, for everything that you have done, James Cameron, you didn't understand my Wonder Woman, you didn't understand the movie I just made. Again, what I've noticed is most of his big directors never come out at the MCU stuff. I don't want to say that. I had to be forced to say that, but it's so true. James Cameron has never come out at anything the MCU has done talking about it's taking, women a step back because she's scantily clad, or she's dressed the way she is, and you're looking at her the way you're looking at her. Again, Henry Cavill's walking around in a bodysuit with, Ben Affleck is walking around in a bodysuit. You have male superheroes walking around all day with their shirts off. You had Thor in Thor 1, Chris Hemsworth in Thor 1 walking around with his shirt off. Captain America in Civil War grabbing showing off his biceps, grabbing a helicopter. Was that? Yeah, that was Civil War. like all of these things happening, and not one person, not one director, big wig, producers come out and said, don't, this is taking people back. Like, no. Wonder Woman has always been about female empowerment. She's always been about that. No matter how she looks, no matter how she's dressed, that's her message. If you can't understand that, James Cameron, and I feel really bad saying this because James Cameron is a director that I feel like everyone respects, but you can't talk about another person's movie like that if you don't understand it. Talk to them rather than talk out to people in the public, where this is going to be taken again and taken as news. This is again a shot at the DCeU. It's a shot at the greater DCeU collective. Like, so it doesn't matter where it comes from, whether it comes from the bloggers, whether it comes from the news itself, or it comes from another director to talk about another director's movie. Come on, man. Come on. That's about all I got for you guys today, man. I'm sorry this turned out to be a rant, but this is something that I feel like had to be said, which way about it. But so go down in the comment section. So go down in the comment section. Let me know what you feel about everything I just talked about. Let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me, or there's something that I missed. If there's something that I missed, let me know, and then in a future video I'll talk about it. Also, let me know what your thoughts about everything that has come out is. Subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, share the video, like it, go about and talk about it to your friends. This is something that I feel like every DCU fan should talk about. Again, this is another way. This is how I've decided to react to it. To stop and think and not, spend too much energy on it. I just feel like this video had to be done because almost every day this week something was coming out. Anyways, follow of 2 on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The podcast is still going strong. I want to thank everyone that's supporting the podcast right now on Audio Mac. The link is down here at the bottom. I want to thank everyone that supported the podcast. I want to thank everyone that also supports the channel. We have more content coming up. As you know, we do a lot of things on the channel. I'm sorry I haven't been, on this as much as possible. I have some movie reviews coming up. I have the Defenders review coming up, and a lot of other things that I want you guys to, a lot of other content that I have out for you guys. Also, it's been your boy Mo Crosby. This is a rant/news report. So this is the Earth 2 news report rant, I guess. I'm gonna call it that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Keep watching, keep reading, and go through your long boxes. Peace.